In the small town of Nkrumah in the British colony of the Gold Coast, on September 21, 1909, a child was born who would one day lead his nation to independence and inspire liberation movements across Africa. His name was Kwame Nkrumah. Born to a humble family of the Nzima ethnic group, his early life was shaped by modest surroundings and a deep spiritual and cultural heritage. Raised by his mother, Elizabeth Nyanaba, after his father's death, young Kwame grew up with a strong sense of discipline and community. A brilliant student, he first attended a Roman Catholic elementary school, where he quickly excelled. His teachers, recognizing his intelligence and leadership qualities, encouraged him to pursue teaching, and in 1930 he graduated from Achimota College in Accra, one of the few advanced institutions for Africans under colonial rule. After teaching in rural schools for a few years, Nkrumah longed for greater knowledge and a broader horizon. In 1935, with the help of scholarships and encouragement from nationalist mentors, he traveled to the United States to study at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. There, immersed in the ideas of Pan-Africanism, socialism, and anti-colonialism, Nkrumah flourished. He earned multiple degrees in economics, sociology, theology, and philosophy, and connected with figures like W.E.B. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey's followers. He later pursued further studies in London, where he worked alongside future leaders like Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya and joined Pan-African congresses. His years abroad cemented his belief that the liberation of Africa would require not only political independence but also economic self-determination and continental unity. In 1947, Nkrumah returned to the Gold Coast to serve as General Secretary of the United Gold Coast Convention, UGCC, an elite-led political movement seeking gradual reforms. But Nkrumah's vision clashed with the UGCC's cautious approach. He broke away and founded the Convention People's Party, CPP, in 1949, rallying the masses with the slogan, "Self-Government Now." His message resonated deeply with workers, farmers, students, and the urban poor. In 1950, following civil disobedience campaigns, Nkrumah was arrested by British authorities and jailed, but his popularity only surged. Astonishingly, while still in prison, his party swept the 1951 elections, and he was released to become leader of government business, a move that marked the beginning of the end of colonial rule. Over the next several years, Nkrumah negotiated with the British and steered the colony toward independence. On March 6, 1957, the Gold Coast became the first sub-Saharan African country to break free from colonial rule, and Kwame Nkrumah became the first prime minister of the newly renamed nation of Ghana, named after the ancient West African Empire. The independence ceremony was historic, not just for Ghana, but for all of Africa. Nkrumah declared that the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa, signaling that his struggle extended far beyond his borders. He championed Pan-Africanism, supported liberation movements across the continent, and became the face of African unity. In 1960, Ghana became a republic, and Nkrumah its first president. Initially, his leadership brought a wave of optimism and economic progress. He invested heavily in infrastructure, education, health, and industrial projects, including the ambitious Akosombo Dam on the Volta River. Ghana's economy grew, and Nkrumah promoted African-centered education and pride. But challenges soon emerged. His centralized economic policies and rapid industrialization led to rising debt and inflation. Meanwhile, his political power grew increasingly authoritarian. In 1964, Ghana became a one-party state, and Nkrumah declared himself president for life. Dissent was suppressed, and the feared Preventive Detention Act was used to silence critics. While many Ghanaians still revered him as the Osagyefo, the Redeemer, frustrations mounted over economic hardship and lack of political freedom. Internationally, Nkrumah's foreign policy grew bold and costly. He funded African liberation movements, hosted African summits, and dreamed of a united continental government. He wrote extensively, from philosophical treatises like Consciencism to revolutionary calls like Africa Must Unite. But his global vision alienated Western powers and even some African allies. At home, his government survived multiple assassination attempts and plots. Then, in February 1966, while Nkrumah was visiting North Vietnam and China on a diplomatic mission, the Ghanaian military and police staged a coup, ousting him from power. The streets of Accra filled with both celebration and sorrow. Nkrumah, shocked and devastated, sought refuge in Guinea, where his ally President Sékou Touré appointed him honorary co-president. In exile, he remained politically active, publishing books and letters calling for African unity and warning against neo-colonialism. But his influence waned as Ghana turned from his socialist policies and moved closer to the West. In Guinea, Nkrumah lived simply but with dignity, never renouncing his ideals. Years of emotional strain and declining health took their toll. Diagnosed with prostate cancer, he was flown to Bucharest, Romania, for treatment. On April 27, 1972, Kwame Nkrumah died at the age of 62. Initially buried in Guinea, his remains were later returned to Ghana, where he was finally laid to rest in a national mausoleum built in his honor. Today, his legacy is complex yet monumental. Though his later rule was marked by authoritarianism and economic missteps, his towering contributions to African independence and unity are undisputed. He inspired generations with his unwavering belief in the dignity, potential, and power of the African people. Statues, books, and murals commemorate his life, while his name remains synonymous with the birth of modern Africa. In Ghana, across the continent, and even in the African diaspora, Kwame Nkrumah stands as a symbol of visionary leadership, revolutionary zeal, and the enduring dream of a free and united Africa.